It's UTMB week once again, the biggest week in the trail running calendar. But this year, the defending champion isn't coming back. The two greatest ultra runners of their generation are both nursing the same injury, and yet across all three races, UTMB, CCC and OCC, the fields are absolutely stacked. So let's get into it. Who is going to win and who are our dark horses at this year's UTMB week? The UTMB men's race is wide open, with Kilian Jornet, the four-time champion, having pulled out with an ongoing knee injury. He could barely walk downstairs after Zagama in May, and he DNF'd Western States and hasn't raced since. It's probably the right call. Now, that would have left the door open for Jim Walmsley, but he has just this last few days pulled out as well with a similar knee injury. He DNF'd at mile 62 Forest Hill at Western States, and to be honest, it's probably the right call for him as well. And Tom Evans, of course, last year's champion, the first Brit to win UTMB since Jez Bragg back in 2010, is not coming back to defend his title. He's been at UTMB the last 4 years. He probably deserves a year off. He posted on Instagram saying sometimes you've got to look at the bigger picture. He also DNF'd at Hard Rock this year. He's also got, we think, possibly a Bob Graham round planned for later in the year, so we'll see if that happens. And by the way, if you haven't yet watched my documentary about Tom Evans winning UTMB last year, then please go and watch that. It's really good. I promise you'll really enjoy it. It's only 25 minutes long, so go and watch Tom Evans You've Got to Win UTMB, it's called, and it's out now on YouTube. So with those three big names not in the picture, it does leave UTMB's men's race wide open for somebody to grab their chance. Now, coming back after a really strong year and a second place finish in 19 hours 51 last year, Ben Dhiman from the States, who now lives in the Pyrenees so that the mountains are his home, he's coming back. He was 5th at Transvolcania this year. He was 2nd at Mont Blanc 90k. He was named 3rd best ultra runner of the year this year as well. So he has a really good chance to step up and go one better than he did last year. And last year's 3rd place runner, Josh Wade, he came in just over 20 hours last year to get that 3rd place. He's done really well this year as well. He won at UTS, he came 3rd at Trans Gran Canaria. He has a real chance as well of stepping up and doing 1 or 2 possibly better this year. That would be great for the UK if he could do well again this year. Someone who I think stands a really good chance if things go their way and if he runs his race is Caleb Olson from the USA. He won Western States in the 2nd fastest time ever last year. He also set a course record at Trans Gran Canaria Classic, not an easy race. So Caleb has a real opportunity. The only thing is he has possibly been suffering with a few injury niggles. There was a few DNFs I think this year. So it's a little bit of an unknown whether Caleb is on top form. We'll soon find that out when he hits the mountains, but good luck to Caleb and keep an eye out for him. Talking about fast Western States times, Caleb Olson may have run the 2nd fastest time in Western States history last year, but this year Vincent Bouillard broke the Western States course record in a time of 13 hours 46 minutes. So he is on top form as well. He won UTMB as a complete rank outsider in 2024, again when people dropped from the field, and he took his chance. Vincent is arguably the most in-form runner in the field this year. He has an absolutely massive chance of getting his 2nd UTMB title. This time, people will know his name, and he will be massively cheered across the line as a French runner if he can win UTMB this year. John Albon from the UK comes into UTMB 2026 still primarily known for being better at the shorter distances. He won OCC in 2021, he won CCC in 2023, but he did step up to the 100-mile distance last year at Western States, which is his only 100-mile finish so far. He started UTMB 2025, ran alongside Tom Evans for much of the race, but was forced to pull out with an injury at Chamonix may lack. Could he go any better this year? He is primed and ready for a really good finish at a 100-mile distance. He won Trans-Gran Canaria 126 kilometres this year, so he is ready, he is fit, he's raring to go, and I know he really wants this. So who on earth do we pick from Vincent Bouillard, Ben Dhiman, Josh Wade, John Albon and Caleb Olson? It's anybody's race. I have absolutely no idea. On their day, any of those runners could win this race. Am I going to pick one? Dark horse, Josh Wade. The most likely on talent, Caleb Olson. The one who wants it the most, John Albon. But it's anybody's race. Unlike the men's race, the women's race does have the big names in it. Ruth Croft, last year's champion, she won in 22 hours and 56 minutes last year, 30 minutes ahead of second place. She is undoubtedly the clear favourite this year. She's the only woman to have won OCC, CCC and UTMB. She's had 21 podium finishes at UTMB series events. There's no one to touch her at the moment if she runs to her best. The one person, of course, who could challenge Ruth if she runs to her best is the three-time champion Courtney Dauwalter. She won in 2019, 2021 and in 2023 not only did she win UTMB, but she took the Triple Crown of Western States, Hard Rock and UTMB, the only person to have ever done that. But last year was tough. She led the race for 120 kilometres but eventually faded, finishing in 10th place, 3 hours behind the winner Ruth Croft. If Courtney is going to win, she's got to prove that last year was a blip and she's right back on it again. Now, not only is John Albon one of my dark horses for the men's race this year, but his better half, Henriette, is my dark horse pick for the UTMB women's race. It'll be her first 100 miler. She won Trans-Gran Canaria Classic last year and then she came back and won it again this year. She is a tough cookie. If she can get it right on her very first appearance at the UTMB full distance, we are in for a treat. And I have chosen Henriette as the subject of my next big documentary. I'm going to interview Henriette this week in Chamonix and then film her around the UTMB course in her first major 100-mile race. So, my dark horse pick for a podium place at the UTMB women's race is Henriette Albon. Keeping an eye on the Brits in the women's race, Fiona Pascal won the Chianti Ultra Trail to earn her Western States golden ticket last year, came 5th at Western States after being chased by a bear as well, and then backed that up with a top 10 finish at Western States this year. Her sister Beth Pascal won the Western States race in 2021, so doing well at 100 miles is in the family. Let's see if Fiona is good enough to finish perhaps in the top 10 or even top 5 at this year's UTMB. And my final pick in the women's race is the Cocodona 250 three-time champion. She won it ahead of all the men and broke the course record this year at the Cocodona 250. Rachel Entrecken. Let's see how she does. It's an interesting one because 170 kilometres is virtually a park run for her, so she'll kind of stroll it, but we'll see how fast she can do it, whether she can keep up with the elites at the front end of the pack. If you're going to force me to pick one, I'm just going to go with the obvious, I'm afraid. Ruth Croft for me. I can't see anyone touching her unless she has an injury or a really bad day, or Courtney does something incredible, or Henriette pulls something out the bag if Ruth and Courtney have a bad day. CCC always delivers, and this year the field is deep as ever. The two highest ranked runners are Christian Minogio and Ben Rubio. Minogio finished second at OCC last year, just a few seconds behind Jim Walmsley. Also second to Jim Walmsley at the Trail World Championships was Ben Rubio. Both of them should finish on the podium if they run their best races. But this is CCC and it's the depth that makes it special. Adam Peterman won Western States and the World Championships back in 2022, was third at CCC in 2024 and has just won the Canyons 100k again. Hans Troyer is only 26 and was named number 5 Ultra Runner of the Year last year and set a course record at Black Canyon 100k in February. Dan Jones from New Zealand has won Tarawera 3 times and finished 4th at CCC in 2024. Hugh Chatfield is our top British runner at this year's CCC. You may remember Hugh as the winner of the Dragon's Back in 2023. And for those of you that don't know, Dragon's Back is a 6-day multi-stage race across the spine of Wales, and 2023 was in a heat wave. So he knows what it's like to suffer, but the last time he ran CCC, he came 36th, so he will need to step up a bit if he's going to make it into the top 10. If you want to call it, let's go for an outside shot of Hans Troyer having the race of his life at 26 years old and winning CCC. They are all hard to call, but the women's CCC race this year might be the hardest of them all. Jennifer Lichter won and broke the course record at Western States this year. Miao Yao won OCC last year, 2025, and Ingvild Kaspersen is back from Norway. She won in 2023 at CCC. Tony McCann from South Africa won CCC on her 100k debut in 2024, came back last year but fell and injured herself whilst in 3rd place, so she'll be back for redemption. From the UK, Gemma Hillier-Moses is the one to watch. She won the Arc 50 80k on the Cornish coastline this year. She's also won Monastrail 50k in June and did well at the Chianti Ultra Trail. She actually turned down a Western States golden ticket in order to focus on CCC, so she is in for this race. Let's see how she does. And finally, Emily Horgood from Zimbabwe. She ran UTMB last year. Things didn't go to plan, but rather than pull out, she carried on just to complete the race. It took her 38 hours and she finished in 69th place. That is unheard of for an elite athlete, just to carry on like that. But I think it tells you something about her character, and that kind of resilience could see her do really well at CCC this year. I really don't know again with this one, but I'm going to go for a fight out between Miao Yao and Jennifer Lichter. I think those two are probably the highest ranked and the most likely to do well in the women's race at CCC this year. Last but not least is OCC, the final one of the 3 in the World Series finals. OCC stands for Orsières, where it starts in Switzerland, Champélac, Chamonix. It's normally a 54-55 kilometre race, but this year they have changed the course. There is a new high section at Tête de Balme, 2,321 metres above sea level, and then crucially a flat, fast section through the valley to finish in Chamonix. Should be an awesome race. Really excited to see how this goes. I am racing it myself, but I will be in wave 3, way behind the elite runners. The highest ranked woman is Tove Alexandersson from Sweden. She has 37 different World Championship golds across multiple sports like orienteering, ski orienteering, sky running, trail and mountain running. She also won the World Trails Short Trail event by 34 minutes with a bandaged forehead, so she is definitely one to watch at OCC this year. But if Alex Anderson doesn't win it, my pick is Sarah Alonso from Spain. She won Zagama in 2025. She was second this year at Zagama to a course record run by Alex Anderson, and she also came second to her at the Trail Worlds. She is hungry, she is new and a rising star. I really like Sarah and I think she could do really well. Naomi Lang is the British pick at OCC this year. She took bronze at the Trail Worlds just behind Alonso, 39 seconds behind Alonso. She's only 25 years old. She's another rising star. Let's see how she does at this year's OCC. Now, two women who may not necessarily be vying for the win, but are still major elite athletes, certainly in my eyes. Alicia Vargo is back racing again after 4 children and a broken vertebrae after a dog attack. It's fantastic to see Alicia Vargo back on the start line of a major race. And our friend Holly Page, she suffered terribly with injuries over the years, but Holly Page is on the start line for the UK at OCC this year. She's arguably one of Britain's most naturally talented trail runners over short distance. She won the Skyrunner World Series, she won the Golden Trail Grand Finale in South Africa, she was a regular podium finisher at the highest level, but injuries like a torn knee ligament descending Mont Blanc, a tree collision in the Azores, concussion at the Matterhorn Ultrax, ankle surgery, she's been through everything. She's had some decent CCC finishes in the past. I'd really love to see her come back and do well at OCC this year. Talking of the Golden Trail Series, someone who always seems to be there and won it in 2022, Remy Bonnet is running OCC this year. In October last year, he broke the vertical kilometre course record. A race with this much climbing, Remy has to be right up there with the top runners at this race. Keep an eye on Remy Bonnet for the win at OCC this year. But of course, it's an absolutely stacked field with deep talent. Remy will not have it his own way. Francesco Pupi is back, having won the race in 2023. Last year he ran the second fastest time ever to win CCC, the first Italian to win that race. He will not be letting Remy get away with anything on the OCC course this year. Another former CCC champion is back in Petter Engel. He won CCC in 2022, the first man to break 10 hours for that race. He is back to race OCC this year. He pushed Kilian Jornet at UTMB right to the last few miles of that race a few years ago. Let's see what Petter can do at OCC this year. Now, we would have had 2 absolutely top-class UK runners at OCC this year. Unfortunately, Chris Jones has had to pull out. Chris pushed Jim Walmsley all the way in OCC last year. It's just a shame he's not going to be able to make the start line this year. But that leaves us with Robbie Simpson. Not a bad substitute. Second at OCC in 2021, third in 2022. The longer course may not suit Robbie, has to be said, but we'll see. 61 kilometres for Robbie Simpson to see if he can get on the podium at OCC this year. Let's see. Do you know what though? I'm going to go for Francesco Pupi, last year's CCC winner, to win it at this year's OCC. Let's see if I'm right. What do you think of this year's races? UTMB, CCC and OCC. Who is going to be on the podium for the men and women in all those 3 races? Let me know in the comments down below if you think I'm way off the mark or if you think I've got it spot on. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that now. I will see you on the start line of OCC later this week. Take care. Bye-bye.